Hello friends, I wanted to do a reading today from my book, Don't Be a Stranger. As always, this is Alicia Nodeman, author of Don't Be a Stranger and Don't Be a Stranger to Grief, and consultant in the Rodan and Field skin and hair care industry. And I love using this channel to share anything at all that I come across that I find useful for personal and professional development, for interpersonal connection, or simply products and tips that I've enjoyed that I want to be able to pass on. So thank you for following and thank you for being a part of my world. That said, the reading for today is going to come out of chapter 9 on showing curiosity, and it's all about how well you do at showing up for others when you're presented with an opportunity to meet strangers or potentially raise the vibration around you through interpersonal connectedness and talking to strangers. So one of the easiest places to spark conversations in my case has been with strangers at the airport. So I'll ask questions like, where are you traveling to? What takes you there? What excursions are you looking forward to? Have you been there before? Why did you pick this location? I'm reading off script, but that's how excited I get. It's like as soon as I start questions, I can rattle off so many follow-up questions as to what is driving that person's passion for where they're going. Practice asking questions of every person you sit by at the airport, but then get up and keep moving about. One of my favorite things, by the way, is to sit at the airport bar and order lunch or order breakfast and just talk to whoever keeps sitting down next to me. And I can't tell you how much fun I've had doing that. I've met the funnest people. I've come back with new friendships. I've taken fun little selfies with strangers at the airport. I've followed their journeys by, becoming friends on social media and being able to see their photos from wherever they go. It is incredible. And it's a memory that I get to have for the rest of my life. People are often their most open and engaging when they are on their way out of town to vacation. So airports are a great fertile ground for practice of the skills of connection. Here are a few questions to get you thinking about whether you're a good listener and engaging when talking to strangers. Do you look away when someone's talking to you? What does your body language communicate? Is your body turned toward or away from the person that you're in conversation with? Are you checking the time when you're talking to someone? These are cues that can be seen across the room and may give information to others on your manners and whether you're an active and engaged listener. You might be someone who listens better when looking away from the person you're talking to, but it's not going to look that way to other people. Managing social impressions is critical in establishing first impressions. Remember that other people in a room may be watching from afar and evaluating you on how you treat other people and deciding how best and whether to engage you at all. Just a reminder, I'm not suggesting you manage your behaviors to manipulate a positive or desired outcome, but rather that you create habits of treating everyone with respect, openness, and warmth in a non-discriminatory manner that can be seen across a room. So in other words, don't decide that somebody is, too fill in the blank for you to engage or spend your time talking to, too old, too young, too something. So detach from outcome of what you think about a potential connection and simply lead with kindness. That's the message of my book. If you do notice you're talking more than listening, then you may be spending too much time speaking about what you have to offer and how much you know to demonstrate competence, value, likability, or credibility rather than engaging others to share. One of my favorite sayings, and I apologize, I don't know who to quote, but one of my favorite sayings is, be interested, not interesting. And I love that because it is the idea of showing interest in others by actively asking questions and following up. Others will be more drawn to you if you treat them as important and show interest in them. We often trust people who show us who they are rather than tell us who they are. Incidentally, questions also help identify the core of who and how someone is. So the core of a person is not necessarily how they represent in a first meeting, but rather who you understand them to be as time and patterns in a relationship build over time. Author Michael P. Nichols' 2009 of The Lost Art of Listening, one of my favorite books, by the way, provides humbling examples of critical and active listening skills and distractions to listening. And you might feel humbled, by the way, at maybe like how not good of a listener you are, because I tell you, I recommend this book to any student that I have the opportunity to teach, any colleague or any client who's struggling with listening or connection. He suggests when you find yourself thinking of the next thing you want to say while someone's talking, you're not listening. When you tell a related story of your own, as soon as another person is done talking, you send the message that you're not listening. In fact, you kind of just hijacked their story and made it about you under the guise that you're relating. And this is like there's a fine line here between connecting and hijacking, right? And so That's a topic for another day. This one's a huge pet peeve of mine and one of the most common social faux pas that I see. The listener is almost always well-intentioned, simply wanting to show understanding, but ends up leaving the other person feeling undervalued and invalidated, especially if you don't relate and then bring it right back to the person who shared originally. Directing conversation to focus on another person takes skill and care. Again, talk less, listen more, listen mindfully and patiently and with interest. Drop your agenda. Maintain eye contact while listening as it communicates interest, and let the other person finish before you start speaking. Do not interrupt even and especially if you disagree with what is being said. I often respond with disagreement with a statement like, I can appreciate your perspective, I feel differently. If you are interested in learning more about a person's thoughts, you might add, I'd be curious to learn more about your understanding or experience. You also might respond, yes, and then elaborate with your experience or perspective, and avoid the use of but, however, nevertheless, at all costs. The word but negates any message, even affirmation, before the actual word itself. So I could say to you, boy, last night that steak at dinner was incredible, and now you're gonna expect a negative. What's she gonna criticize? But boy, the dessert was awesome. And yet I just minimized a little bit of the fabulousness of the first part of the sentence because I went to a but. And that may be a silly example, but you'll notice it come to life when you're actually in a scenario where but is used. Listen to what is being said before preparing a response. Nichols captures the essence of listening beautifully when he says, listening is not a need we have, it is a gift that we have to give. All right, everybody, have a great day and thanks for watching.